I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. You're listening to the sports coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
What's up, fam? Welcome. You know, I rock with the sports coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. I'm up in this thing. Shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation. We represent, baby. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in this Monday episode of The Coma. Man, this one entitled Saints and wide receiver James Washington, who came in, checked out with the team, and agreed to a 1-year deal. And Mickey and Dennis Allen loading up that offense, man. Very good, just really great moves for the black and gold. We're going to cover several moves today. I'm going to try not to keep you guys too long on this episode of the show. But big ups to everybody out there in the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. Good to see y'all here. I see a lot of y'all out here. OG Jerry in the building. Pelicans, Nola, brother Edwards in this thing. Poppy 504. Mr. Barnes, shout out to you, my brother. Trav 504. Kevin, good to see you, fam. Shout out to you as well. King Morrison in the building. Good to see you, sir. St. Doug, shout out to you. Good to see you, brother Tedra. My dog Trey in the building. Shout out to Trey. Much love to him and the rest of the entire family, man. I see you, bro. Shout out to you. Mr. Phantom in the building. Brother Wallace in this thing. Good to see everybody. What's up, Pammy, baby? What's popping with you? Good to see you. Dev84, what's up, fam? Appreciate you. What's popping? Brother Quavadius is in this thing. Shout out to you. Good to see you, sir. Much love to everybody, man. Thank y'all for being in the stream as we talk about this, man, on the day. What's up, Chris? Shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you. All right, so for the family members, please feel free to hit the like button if you hadn't hit it. Hit the like button. What's up, Jamaica, baby? Shout out to you. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you aren't a subscriber, and feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Listen, the Saints putting in that work, man. They're doing some really good, solid things out there and making some really good signings getting James Washington, a speedy veteran wide receiver, been in the league for several years. He'll compete in the wide receiver room. And most certainly with this, you know what this means, fam. You know what this means? It means that the Saints are eventually going to get rid of Traquan Smith. Traquan Smith, your damn days are numbered, sir. Let me tell you something. They're not playing this year. They're not playing all this. He good for blocking crap. You up out of here, playboy. They about to get you clean up out of here, man. James Washington is a fantastic receiver, man. He dealt with some injuries, but speed and very crafty guy, was productive in his years with the Steelers. The Saints get a good veteran to push the room. A.T. Perry, we're going to go over the depth chart from a wide receiver perspective in a little bit. Said, shout out to you. Good to see you. Sir Roger, shout out, sir. Appreciate you. Brother Gundam, shout out to you, brother. Good to see you in the chat as well. Much love. All right. Covada says he survives all this depth he got. Yeah, I know, bro. Hey, man. Nah, bro. It's over with. That's a done data big time, bro. This guy he up out of here, man. He up out of here, man.
He ain't lying.
I'm telling you straight up. I ain't lying. Traquan Smith is done. He out of here. What's up, Dana? Shout out to you, Queen. Appreciate you. April, shout out to you. Much love to you. Good to see you in the building. Much love to everybody, man. But we're going to cover the news notes and items on this article, man. And we're going to go over a few other things. Let's jump right into it for the deal. Shout out to The Wire, as they were one of several outlets that covered it. Yeah, bro. I know, bro. I know I said it. Yeah, I told them, man. That's the first thing I said when they signed it, James Washington. I said, man, Traquan is done. It's over with. It's over with. Tell them, dude.
Huh? That's who you are. And when you find that out, huh?
It's over with, Traquan. It's a done data, baby, with all that kind of stuff. But anyway, let's get into it. The Saints, they signed him to a one-year deal. And this is according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, dropping the scoop. He's a former second-round pick out of Oklahoma State. Very productive player. Washington was a productive part of the Steelers' pass-catching party from 2019 to 2021 before he signed a one-year prove-it deal with the Cowboys, only to miss most of the year with a foot injury. He appeared in 2 games with the Cowboys before he was waived, closing out the 22 season on the Giants practice squad. So how does he fit with the Saints? We discussed the role he'll be pushing the offense, but the Saints are effectively asking 5 players to compete for 2 or 3 spots in Washington. Brian Edwards is a part of it. The wide receiver picked up from the free agent wire. He's familiar with Dakar, as we all know. Traquan Smith, A.T. Perry, and Malik Flowers, assuming the top 3 spots are locked in, and they are, with Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, depending on his injury situation, which is looking good according to Mickey and Dennis Allen, and Rashid Shaheed. That's going to be an intense training camp competition, which is, you want all of that at every level, but good to see it at the wide receiver room. So we'll see who comes out at top with this one. So, man, it's going to be pretty good watching this. So like everybody else understands, man, what brother Washington does. Now, like I said, solid veteran wide receiver that comes in and should be able to help the Saints straight away. So anyway, he, like I said, man, has some good years, man. 27 years of age, man, and has some good production. So it's going to be interesting to see just how it all fits for the Saints. But these are some very good signings, very solid signing to get James Washington. And we talked about what other positions of need did the Saints need to go and address outside of looking for an interior defensive lineman to help out there. They're still weak in the interior defensive line, depending on what Tanu Passanio ends up playing. You know, they have him currently listed as an end, and perhaps he can be a guy that can slide inside and spend his time predominantly inside, you know, which is where I want to see him at, inside the defensive line, helping out there. But we still need another veteran to compete there, to be honest with you. So it's pretty cool seeing him, them signing Washington, and credit to Dennis Allen, credit to Mickey Loomis. These men also spoke up and said, man, we're not done yet. There's still a lot of time between now and training camp. And the Saints, they have a very good monetary situation. This James Washington deal is obviously a very cheap deal, very friendly to the Saints. The Saints still have to sign a couple of more draft picks. We know they'll get that done eventually, and then they'll kind of add a few more guys as the season goes on before training camp. We're looking at a guy. What's next, Q? How about linebacker? We need a veteran linebacker to compete at the linebacker room. How about a cheap contract to Quan Alexander on the prove it deal? That sounds good. I'm for it. I'm for a reunion of having Quan Alexander there. How about some more help at the interior defensive line? I'm for that too. Having more of a veteran approach, like they have the veteran Washington there. But how about having a veteran interior defensive lineman behind a guy like Tanu Passanio and the rest of those guys? How about some of that for some depth purposes? Now, we do have some guys there, but they're unproven young guys, and we don't know what they can do as of yet. You see, so it's only a matter of time before we see what's popping on that. Shout out to the fan. Appreciate y'all it being in the stream. Shout out to the brother Brian's Flat Power God. Shout out to you, brother. Richard says, shout out to you, bro. He says, good evening, Q. Another smart move. I guess they felt like they wanted a young, cheap version of Landry. Yeah, and good point there, brother Richard. Shout out to you, bro. This is true because that basically slams the door on Jarvis Landry, doesn't it? Now, barring injury, and knock on wood, we really need like we don't really need Michael Thomas to. I ain't gonna say need. I would really like him to be healthy, but being that the Saints adjusted over the last several years of life without Michael Thomas, we've seen from him not simply being there, we've seen the development of a very good Chris Olave, and we've seen a player in Rashid Shaheed who really stepped in last year and really moved up in the depth chart to he's your third best wide receiver there. So this is smart decisions by the Saints to kind of add more depth. You can never go wrong because you got young players there, but why injury is a thing. This is how you kind of brace up against the injury situation by adding talented players. And like I said about James Washington is a guy that has a speed component. He can get down the field and he can catch the ball. Like they said, a former second-round draft pick. Injuries have been his problem, but the Saints see him more as a rotational guy to help out what we already have. So if we don't have to rush Mike in there, maybe we can kind of diligently work with Mike Thomas to get him in there and kind of walk him into that thing. You see what I'm saying? Not just throw him out there and that kind of stuff. So I don't know if they'll put the kid gloves on him because they can't really afford to put the kid gloves on him because he got a 1-year deal. They got to get the most out of him this year because his contract is up. And I'm talking about Michael Thomas, obviously, but at the end of the day, we'll just have to wait and see how they approach it. Chris, shout out to you, says Deion Jones. I don't know if Deion fits in a price range, bro. I love Deion Jones, former LSU dude. He got that defensive back speed. He can cover a lot of area, but the issue is, can they afford him? Because we looking at like the Saints, roughly, what is it? Maybe, $10 to $11 million, that they have around there, maybe a little, south of that. But you don't want it because his demands are, his last contract was like $8 million, $8 million. I don't know if the Saints, even if he cut it in half and say, okay, I'll give you a deal to come back home. Let me cut that thing in half for half the money. Are the Saints really going to spend $5 million on Deion Jones for a year? Or will it make sense for them to go after a guy that only costs $1 million something bucks and like a Quan Alexander who already knows your system? That's the only thing. I love Deion Jones. I just don't know from an economic standpoint if he will play for that amount of money. So I don't know. I just think the Quan thing works in so many ways, but you never know, bro. You never know. All right. Neville, shout out to you, brother. Good to see you in the chat. Shout out to you, brother Matt. Shout out to you, G Reese. Shout out to you. He says, Q, did we sign? Yeah, we got some more people. I'm gonna cover it in this thing as well. All right, so shout out to the rest of y'all. But yeah, this is good signing for us moving forward. So let's look at the rest of some of the other moves that the Saints signed. They did move and sign a few undrafted guys. They picked up this undrafted defensive back here, Mr. Adrian Fry. They picked him up here today. The Saints announced it via the Twitter that they picked up and signed Adrian Fry and a couple other people. And of course, Mr. Fry is a guy that 40 time is 4'4", 8'6" feet tall, 195-pound corner. They call him a safety. That's what they were making mention of, safety. So he has a dual component with him. So you have 6 foot, 195-pound cornerback out of the University of Texas Tech, who last year had 20 tackles, 12 solo, 1 pass defense, and 1 pick. So good size for Adrian Fry. They picked this brother up. and added him to the team today. The Saints also made another move and picked up. Let me see if I got this other guy here. Here he is, a running back for you guys out there, Ellis Merriweather, running back from UMass, the Minutemen. And this is a scouting report that I was able to find on this brother, 6 feet tall, 220 pounds. His 40 time ain't all that is 4.6, but he's mostly like a kind of a power back, north-south runner. One liner, and they kind of lay him out there as a bruising back with great athleticism, a power running style to go along with enough wiggle to make defenders miss in the open field, and possess ultra ball security. Evaluation is that he's a between the tackles runner who can move the chains, north-south power runner. Merriweather is short, compact, and powerful. He demonstrates a swift sidestep in the second level and has shown to be more capable in the passing game for the Minutemen. Now, in addition, he flashes a strong, stiff arm capable of jolting defenders. Merriweather owns a bell cow mentality and embraces the workhorse role. He wants all the carries. He's yet to fumble in his 200, and let me say that again, yet to fumble in 283 career carries during his time at UMass, and he plans to employ a more up-tempo offense. So that's what they're saying. So which also means expanded committee approach. But that's what they're saying. He was a 3-time captain, heavily on the NFL radar, could factor into a late round equation. And they just talking about could be a bargain selection with immense upside. This guy finished out to give him a 6th-round grade. The Saints pick him up late after the draft and bring him in. So there you go. North-South power runner, yet to fumble. His name is Ellis Merriweather. He got a strong football name, and to be honest with you, man, that's that's a good football name right there. But anyway, what do you guys think about that move, man? The Saints were able to kind of grab at and get a north-south power runner. We can use all the help that we can get when it come down to doing things like that. So the Saints make a move. They get a couple of people there. Ellis Merriweather, the power back. They also get Mr. Adrian Fry, the defensive back with duality. He plays safety or cornerback for you as well. Now, also, the Saints add a defensive tackle to the fold. From the XFL, the New Orleans add defensive line depth by pulling from an XFL playoff team. So XFL is pretty much a farm league organization for the NFL. A lot of these new leagues that's out right now, they really don't want to come into competition with the NFL because kind of the predecessors understand those come with very disastrous results. So it's smart for some of these leagues to play when the NFL isn't playing, and also to act as a farm league with the NFL. And that's what the XFL was doing. But what was really smart at one point, this is a drop game on both these leagues, they were actually in talks to combine their leagues, which would have made a lot of sense, but it fell apart at the last minute. So to have the XFL and the USFL to combine their leagues into a massive summer league, that would have been really entertaining to see. That would have been really entertaining to see. But it fell apart at the last. Hopefully they can revisit that, man, because that'd have been a tremendous thing to see both those leagues operate as the ultimate summer league, because that's what it's going to take to competing at that level. But anyway, let's get into the story. New Orleans Saints, NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reports that the Saints are signing XFL defensive tackle Jeff Heflin on Monday. Heflin played collegiately for 3 seasons at Northern Iowa and 1 at Iowa. He compiled 21 tackles for a loss, 10 sacks in those 4 years. An undrafted rookie out of Iowa in 21, Heflin played 1 season with the Packers, and last year with the Giants, appearing in 5 games. He just finished the spring with the Houston Roughnecks of the XFL. Shout out to the Saints News Network giving us the scoop, brother Kyle T. Mosley. Much love to my brother. The Roughnecks were eliminated in the XFL semifinals by the Arlington Renegades. They finished the season with a 7-3 record and entered the playoffs as a top seed in the XFL South Division. Heflin finished the year with a sack and 3 tackles for a loss among 19 total stops for the Roughnecks. 6'3", 304 pounds, Heflin joins the Saints defensive tackle position that has tons of changeover. The Saints spent the 1st-round pick on Clemson's defensive tackle, Brian Breesy, and signed free agent tackles Nathan Shepard and Kalen Saunders this offseason. The Saints ranked just 19th against the run in 2022. The defensive tackles contributed just 13.5 of the team's 94 sacks over the last 2 seasons. So you can see those were numbers heavily that the Saints are looking at to improve. So the Saints go and they get he is a veteran guy. He played uh, with 2 different teams. He's a young veteran. So the Saints add a very spunky defensive tackle by the name of Jack Heflin to the team. So we'll see how that all shakes and goes moving forward. So interesting, man. Very interesting for the black and gold. All right, so let's keep it moving along. Let's take a look at the next thing we're going to play for you guys right there. We got Cam Jordan chimed in here, fam. What's up, Chief Peanut? How you doing, sir? Much love to you. Appreciate you. Brother Eric, shout out to you, bro. Much love. Appreciate you. Brother Finnis is in this thing. Shout out to you, cuz. Much love. All right, so let's hear what old man Cam with the let's hear what old killer Cam got to say, man. Y'all put one in the chat if you can hear Cam as he was talking about what happened today. And he talked about longevity and the Saints' upcoming season. Here we go.
Yeah, I met what is it, Brzee and Fauski last week before I dipped off to do some USFL analyst work, and then I came back, caught practice yesterday, right after Mother's Day. Did a Mother's Day brunch. Took my son to go run with me at the facility and was like, "Oh, practice here, might as well pop in." Said what's up to the guys, and then yeah, we finished Mother's Day off strong, went to movies and chilled out. But I can't wait to get in building and really get pads on, and that's when you start the molding process in my book. Coaches, they're going to start talking to them the moment they get in the locker room. I could care less what we do without pads. I'm here for how we act with pads on.
Crosby said that coming here is what he wanted because he wanted to learn from you. I mean, what does that say when you hear somebody say something like that?
Been here a long time. The ingredients are starting to be a proven method. But no, I mean that's huge just because you love to catch a young guy who is hungry for the game. And talking to Justin Tuck, connecting me to young Fauski over there. I think we've got a guy who wants to learn, wants to play and do things the right way, and we're gonna see where this goes in next year. I love, I told him early on, look, this first year we're gonna see, we're gonna throw some stuff up the wall, see what sticks. That second year is when you really see the mold happen.
How much longer do you want to play?
Forever. Now, realistically, I don't know if forever works, but like we all have to get old sometime. And I'm sure one day I'll check the tank and be like, it's about that time. I've gone through scenarios in my head, what happens, what doesn't happen. I said I check in with my body at year 10. Year 10 felt great. Now at year 13, the next check-in is year 15. So, going ahead into my last year of the contract, which I just probably discussed earlier. Whatever happens, happens. I love that I'm a part of Who Dat Nation. I've been here for going on 13 years, and I don't see myself ever leaving. How long do we play? We'll see. As long as the love still burns strong.
So you want an extension?
Doesn't everybody? My wife wants a bigger ring. Like we all have things that we want. We'll see if we can get them.
How has your offseason been? I know you went to Spain. It's been a whirlwind. At least for those of us that follow you on social media, it seems like it's been kind of a pretty spectacular whirlwind.
Carnival in Brazil with the wife, with Marv Jones, a couple guys from there. It's a great experience. 2 days later, we pack the kids up. We head off to Spain. A month in Madrid, 3 weeks in Barcelona, a week in Bilbao, check out San Sebastian and Victoria, and then we go to Sevilla, finished her birthday over at Ibiza. We did some things. Came back on a Wednesday, worked out on a Thursday, left for the Kentucky Derby on a Friday, came back, worked out a little bit, then went off to Detroit for some USFL work. Yeah, haven't really taken a breather yet. Still got some more work this weekend.
Is your horse win?
Damn.
No,
I'm
none of my horses.
traveling,
My
bro.
parlay horses didn't win. My just show places didn't win. My hey, could you come in a place didn't win. I did no right over there, but I enjoyed it. We looked the part, just like today. Looked the part. Got the golf shoes on. We feel the part. Now, if I get a sleeve of balls and I start whacking them and have to go get another sleeve, I will probably do that. I may not feel the part.
That's interesting, man, from Cam, man. And yeah, he can't talk about, man, he wants to play forever. That's that Brady thing, I guess, man. But in the end, what's interesting is just it speaks to Cam, man, how Cam Jordan has been here with the Saints, man. 13 years. Listen, let it set in, fam, that Cam Jordan is the best defensive end the Saints ever had. He could, if we vote on it, and we're gonna have a showdown online, we're gonna vote, the best defensive player that ever was Now, we would say it's Ricky Jackson, right? Because Ricky Jackson's sitting in the Hall of Fame. We know the only reason why Cam's not in the Hall of Fame right now because he's still playing. But when it's all said and done, this guy's going in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he took down Ricky Jackson's sack record. He got the record, and he got another year. And of course, we got to make, Q, they got more games than what they had back in the day. I understand that, but that don't necessarily guarantee that you're going to get that. They also, getting a lot more injured frequently than they did back in the day too. So it kind of equates a bit, but this guy here, man, Cam is all, and the greatest gift outside of all of the great stuff that Cam has done for the community and the team over the many years is the fact that he's been available. Think about that. The last couple of defensive ends that we drafted, those guys haven't been available. It's like that's the most difficult thing that we can get from a defensive end is just to be there like the majority of the time. Cam is always there, man. And whatever game you need to give the young Fauski, as he calls them, because he was talking to Tuck, because Tuck is a Notre Dame guy. Fauski took down Tuck's sack record at Notre Dame. So if we can, would you be happy to have Justin Tuck here as you? Would y'all be happy with a black and gold Justin Tuck? Could this be Isaiah Fauski? I mean, just saying, man.
But I looked the part.
So safe to say Taysom Hill can hit the ball further than that.
I think my son could probably hit the ball straighter than me, but it just depends on the whack, Yeah, Taysom is probably somewhere in Utah playing a golf course. It was probably just stopped being cold over there. He's been golfing in the snow most like this whole off season. I would never. Yeah, Taysom for.
I don't know, fam. You saying people saying Swillen's the best? I don't know, bro. Swillen was phenomenal. Ricky Jackson, to me, is maybe that's a question I need to throw up in the chat. Hold on, let me put that up. Give me a second, fam. Give me just a second. Let me go ahead on and put this up here because I need to know. I got to know. Let me put this question up to the family members. Hold on here. Let me see if I can run this poll right quick. Let me put this poll up here. And the question is, wait just a second. I got to know, man. About to start a whole nother show based on this. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. All right. Okay, we got, let me see. We're going to put Cam Jordan, top 3 people. Ricky Jackson. I got to be some. Hold on. Let me see if I can add a third player. It's got to be between Ricky Jackson and it's got to be between Ricky. Pat is good, but it's got to be, to me, between Ricky Jackson and Cam Jordan, right? Let me ask y'all that. Let me just throw that up there. Cam. Maybe I can do 4 of them. Y'all give me 4 of them. Who else y'all thinking out there? Who that man? Let me see. Cam Jordan. Put Pat Swillen up there. Pat Swillen, Ricky Jackson, and who would be a 4th one, fam? Who's the 4th player y'all would throw up there? Who's the Mount Rushmore of defensive players on the Saints in the all-time Saint list? Now we're talking about, I guess I don't want to throw I guess we could throw a defensive back in there if you want to, but Cam Jordan, Pat Swillen, Ricky Jackson, Sam Mills. Who's better, Sam Mills or Vaughn Johnson? I say Sam Mills is better than Vaughn Johnson. Will Smith is interesting. I don't know about B-Mac, man. Bobby McCray. Tracy Porter. No. Sharper. That was a 1-year wonder. Sammy Knight's up there. Let's just talk about I guess because the rest of those guys, you got a defensive lineman, you got 2 linebackers with Pat Swillen. Okay, Jonathan Vilma. Leroy. Now I don't know about Leroy. Wayne, yeah, Wayne Martin. Wayne Martin. How about Wayne? Yes, Wayne Martin. Let me throw that up. That'll be it right there. That'll be for right now. We'll do another one because that was my all-time favorite Saint at all before, when I was a younger guy was Wayne Martin. Love Wayne Martin. Now let me ask the community there, man. All right. So there it is. It's up there, fam. So everybody, we got 150 plus up in the building. I want y'all to chime in, hit that poll up, man. I got it pinned to the chat. And people already spiking it right now. Hit that damn poll. Tell me what y'all think, man. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. Is it Cam? Is it Pat? Is it Wayne? Is it Ricky Jackson? All right. Okay, the family throwing down. All right, y'all hit that poll. We're gonna finish off the results and talk about the results at the end of the show. Now let's move on. You look who we got up here, family. We got the man, the legend, the myth, Mickey Loomis, man. Mickey Loomis is about to chime in and tell us about what he thinking about right now. We got Mickey in the building, family. You know we love Mickey Loomis, man. Mickey's the greatest. He's the best. Let's see what means. Let's hear what Mickey got to say, man, about the roster and how he feeling about things. Here's Mickey Loomis.
Like, I was pretty excited about it. You go into these drafts every year with, probably 20 guys that you kind of have targeted, and you end up, generally you're going to end up getting a good portion of them, but not every pick. And I felt like every pick was someone that we had targeted within that group. And it didn't fall perfectly for us, but it kind of did in a lot of ways. So real excited about the group. I thought that, we had a good rookie mini camp and saw some good things. And so, look, I'm optimistic.
Talk about just Foster more, maybe the genesis
Yeah,
of bringing him in and finding the diagnosis, and then obviously signing him after the fact. Just where he is and how you all feel about it all.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we brought him in because he's a good player and
I'll take care of it.
A versatile, well-rounded tight end. The fact that he's from New Orleans and has a history, at LSU and here really had nothing to do with our interest in him. And that was, and that's emotional, to come take a physical and discover something that is unexpected. I know that's tough on him and his family, and yet they handle it so beautifully. And the great news is that the prognosis is good, and even the treatment protocol that he's going to be under is going to allow him to, do some things in this off season and hopefully play in the fall.
So when do you think he'll be able to do everything he needs to do, Nick?
Well, that's dependent upon the doctor's schedule, but from what I understand right now is that he'll be out on the field and participating in everything that we do, subject to his treatment schedule.
Is this like a testing thing that he's constantly undergoing things, or is all of that over?
Yeah, I think those are questions for him. It's not really for me to disclose, his treatment plan.
How incredible is it that we're even able to talk about this, that he's able to
Yeah.
play after?
Yeah, pretty exciting, really. Because when you hear, when you hear the diagnosis and you immediately think, his well-being, football becomes secondary, and then as it goes along, and you get good news and you hear optimism, and it's just that part of it's really exciting.
What do you say about the medical staff? I mean, Nick Fairley, John Dornbos, Boston Monroe. I know that there was another.
Yeah, look, there's some you don't even know that, and that's a credit to John Amos and all of our team doctors and trainers that they've been, pretty diligent and they found some things that others didn't, and I can't say enough about the medical team and the job that they do for us on a daily basis.
Mickey, I know you'd like to take advantage of, eliminate any musts before a draft.
Yeah.
The way things happen with your defensive line this offseason, let some guys go in free agency, and then it felt like
Yeah,
there were some holes, and then first 2 picks in the draft. I mean, was there almost you guys liked the depth in the draft enough? You felt like you were going to be able to address that in the draft? Or how did that?
Well, look, we wanted to keep some of those guys, so it wasn't really a matter of letting them go. As you know, they made their choices, and look, I understand that they deem that to be best for them and their situation, their families, and that happens sometimes. And so we had to respond to that, and I feel like the response has been pretty good.
But not wanting to sort of be forced into a position. Did you feel good you were going to be able to add to the defensive line in the draft?
Well, look, I think we felt like there were some players in the draft that could help us. As I mentioned before, there were some targets that we had, and look, we got a couple of those targets, so it worked out. But you don't always expect that. You hope for it, but you don't expect it.
And what do you like so much about Brazil?
I just like big, athletic. He's a great teammate. I saw all the things that we look for. He has, and I think durability's been a bit of an issue, but I think we feel good about that area.
All right, old Mickey talking it up, man. Feeling pretty good. Mickey out there playing golf and talking it up, man. Talking up the team moves, man. So shout out to Mickey. And how to say, you got to give the same. Yeah, no. The only question is, do I talk to Mickey? No. Do I talk to Mickey? Talk back to Mickey like Mickey? No, I think that'd be a little too much there. Yeah. What's up, Carl? Just shout out, bro. Yeah. All right, let's finish up listening to old Mickey, man. Here we go.
You walked up with Garrett Hartley. This event kind of lets you see people you haven't seen in a long time. I guess one, how was your golf game? And then two, do you like this because of the people you get to see?
Yeah, my golf game's stellar. I just miss Sean being here because it's usually a quick 100 that I can get from him. Look, I love this event because of just exactly what you said. It's not really the golf. It's just getting to see people that you haven't seen for a while and check in on them. And that's the best part about it.
How confident are you in Todd Grantham's ability to mesh this defensive line with rookies and veterans?
Real confident. I mean, Todd's a fantastic football coach, and we've known Todd for a long, long time, and actually had some opportunities in the past that we thought he was going to be on our staff, and it didn't quite work out. But yeah, he's fantastic.
Did you get to see anything out of him in the rookie camp?
Yeah,
already?
Absolutely. We saw him. I saw him at work, and it's as good as we expected.
You think that you made like a significant leap forward in the offseason?
Well, I don't know that. We go in the off season with this list of things that we want to get accomplished, and I felt like we accomplished the majority of them. And then it's wait and see. It's like these drafts. Look, you can feel good about your draft. You see all these draft grades, but let's just be honest. The draft is success or failure is just based upon the performance of the players, and so
indeed,
we got to put them in a position to be successful, and I think our coaches will do that, and we'll do that, and we'll see how it turns out.
How about Michael Thomas, if I could ask you about him?
Do
you feel like he's going to?
Yeah.
What I know, maybe 2019 might be a high bar to jump, but do you think he can be that 80, 90, 100 catch guy?
Oh yeah, absolutely he can be. Yeah, absolutely he can be. Just got to get him healthy, and he's worked so hard at that over the last 2 or 3 years, and look, the results haven't been as good as what we had all hoped, but it's not because of a lack of effort or desire.
Right, and that's the thing with Mickey Loomis, man. We talk about with Mickey is the fact that he feels pretty good about the team, man, and we always listening to Mickey over the many years. Him talking about how in breaking down the team, but Mickey is feeling really confident about the Saints this season. And listen, to be honest with you, and I keep saying this, like, and a lot of people, they can feel good about their team, So, but the thing is, like I keep saying, and I'm not trying to throw water on anybody's squad. The Saints, just letting everybody know that the Saints are ready to win right now. They got a veteran quarterback. The guy been in the league 10 years. A lot of people keep squelching down on Carr and saying Carr's a middle of the pack guy, that he ain't gonna do nothing for the Saints. I'm saying to you, no, that's not true. That is not true. And I keep telling people, don't look at the fact, look at the stats. And I got something I'm gonna be showing on Patreon for the family members, our YouTube membership, and our Patreon champions. I got something I'm gonna be representing on the TSC Q&A live tomorrow, when I'm gonna be dropping some science about the statistics of Carr and where he is. And people need to start sprinkling some respect on his name, for real. For real. The guy has some good accomplishments in 10 years of being here in the NFL. So you have a guy like that on your team, leadership and ability to get down the field, open up everything, man. That's what we were lacking last year. So we're not asking him to do something that he's not comfortable with. See, that's the thing that we got to get to. A lot of us are already there, but it's what the Saints offense couldn't do last year, and what the guy naturally does over his career is what the Saints offense need. It's like a hand to glove fit. So he also brings leadership and an agreeable personality with Pete Carmichael, to the team. Now you look at the gun, they say, but gunslinger mentality. I mean, you might have a gunslinger mentality, but it don't show up in the statistics of what he's doing. Like every season, he's always way ahead of his touchdowns versus interceptions, even in his rookie year and in his second year, during the sophomore year, when you're expecting him to slump a bit. No. So, I mean, he's been steady over time. I think a lot of times people get Derek Carr and David Carr mixed up. They start disrespecting the young brother because of the older brother, and you can't do that, man. You cannot do that. You can't do it. But anyway, let's finish up with Mickey, man.
2019 might be a high bar to jump, but do you think he can be that 80, 90, 100 catch?
Oh
guy
yeah,
again?
Absolutely he can be. Yeah, absolutely he can be. We just got to get him healthy. And,
Shout out
and
to my brother.
he's worked so hard at that over the last 2 or 3 years, and look, the results haven't been as good as what we had all hoped, but it's not because of a lack of effort or desire by him. That's for sure.
Dennis mentioned he had hardware removed from his foot recently. I mean, that was the protocol from his surgery from last November.
Yeah, I think everything's pretty much according to plan so far, and I feel very, very positive about it.
Yeah, and that's Dennis Allen co-signed that. So there is no communication breakdown there. Like they're both on the same page as far as Michael Thomas. Dennis Allen did mention he told Rich Eisen, that he had the hardware to come up off his foot, of his leg, all this kind of stuff. And Mickey said it's not because of anything he's doing. He's working his tail off to get himself in shape. And listen, just ask the Atlanta Falcons and my brother Big Low, man. Just ask my brother Big Low, man, about Michael Thomas in that game last year. And the majority of that is in the second half of the game. That's the all-time greatest, and it just the bees all knees when it comes down to the rivalry between the Falcons and the Saints. It's like what Michael Thomas did to the Falcons in that game was just astronomical. It was just ridiculous. But it's the Saints have him on a 1-year deal, and they want to get him in there. So if we play this right, we'll have enough depth where we can be able to utilize him, where we don't have to, heavily rely upon him to kind of step pyramid him back up into that thing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother Low. Says much love to you, Big Q, and the rest of the Saints family. Shout out to my brother. Thank you for the super chat. Dun, 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 dun. That's a Superman chat. So shout out to my brother Low. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Lou. He got up for them. But see, even if you get I'm just saying that the guy's so dominant, he's not been playing football the last couple of years. So he got an itch to scratch. He got the dude is super uber competitive. So he got to show everybody that he could still compete. Now, a lot of people man, it's been several years now since you did what you did. We thinking you you'll kind of move past that mark, but not in his head. And that's how champions think. Champions and great players never think until they can't do it no more that they can't do it anymore, right? Very few of them have the discipline to step away from the game at their peak, and just say, I got nothing left to give. I done show what I can do, I'm up out of here. The great Muhammad Ali didn't do it. He went way past when he was supposed to do it. Michael Jordan went way past what he was supposed to do it, and we got it's several million examples out there of some of the greatest players at their respective sport that stayed a little too long, beyond their prime. Sometimes you got to have the discipline to know to step away from that thing. But Michael's like one of them great players. He's like, man, I'm gonna do what I got to do, and I'm gonna show myself and then show you in the process. So shout out to Low, appreciate you, man. All right, shout out to Baddest Sports Show podcast, Deep South. Much love, bro. Thank you for popping in. All right, let's finish listening to old Mickey. Here we go.
What do you like about Kendrick Miller, even though you can't see him during the rookie minicamp participating?
Yeah, look, he's just a talented back. Another guy that's great.
That's right,
team, good team guy. It adds to the room. I like we like his personality and just like the way he's going to fit. And look, he's a big, strong back, and can't have enough of those.
Was it a priority to get another young developmental quarterback in the system, or Jake Hayner himself stood out?
Yeah, I think for us it's twofold. You always would like to have a young guy that you can develop, and then we just love the player. We had him in for a 30 visit, and he's got a lot of qualities that we value. So I thought he was off to a good start this weekend as well.
A.T. Perry himself mentioned that there was some character stuff that kind of forced his tumble down the board. Obviously, stuff that y'all feel pretty comfortable about. What did you like about him?
Yeah, look, he's big, strong, guy that uses his body well, very productive.
Yeah, Mickey loves. He talks about A.T. Perry. He talks about other players, and that's the thing when you talk about a guy like A.T. Perry, and he did say that character issues is why A.T. Perry, who originally a lot of people thought was a third or fourth round wide receiver, slid all the way down to where they had him at it, and the Saints was able to grab at him in the 6th round. And listen, I don't want to heap this on him, but could this be? Oh man, that's such a lofty thing to say about A.T. Perry. Could it be a Marcus Colston? And we know Colston went in the 7th round, almost close to Mr. Irrelevant. But could A.T. Perry, who was looked at as a 3rd or 4th round wide receiver, could he be? Could he be? Could he be like we talk about these wide receivers, like we talk about a guy like Chris Olave and what he can mean, or Michael Thomas, But when it comes down to a guy that's all the way close to the back of the draft, like a 6 or 7 round pick, we look at him. Could A.T. Perry? That's a tall order in the Who Dat Nation. But can A.T. Perry get up there to that level where he's fat already out of the box? Marcus Colston was never a speedy guy, but he was always sure-handed. That's the thing. His size, and Marcus Colston knew how to utilize his size and catching the ball. Love Marcus Colston, man. He always represented for the Who Dat Nation, made all the difficult catches. He was fantastic. Love Marcus Colston, man. But A.T. Perry, who's a 6'4", 200-pound wide receiver with speed, catches the difficult balls, did have 17 drops in his time in college. I think that was over the last year or 2 years. I think it was the last year. Over the last couple of years or during the duration. I'm going to have to check that stat. But he had 17 drops. So, and you watch the tape on A.T. Perry, and what you see is a big guy that knows how to use his size to, take advantage of small defensive backs that he's going against. He know how to high point the ball. He can block. A lot of people say, can he block you? Yeah, I've seen tape with him blocking. I also seen tape with him putting a move on somebody and getting beyond him, catching the ball out front of him, catching the ball away from his body, which shows that he's a good pass catcher. And the drops that A.T. Perry did accumulate in college, a lot of the drops was dropped. Not all of them, but a lot of them were like concentration drops. Like he would throw him the ball and he trying to run without the ball. We've seen that before, trying to move before you've gotten the ball, secured the ball. So, it's interesting, but we'll see how it all looks. Let's finish up with Mickey, man.
Very productive.
All right, hold on here. Mickey.
He's big, strong, you know, guy that uses his body well, very productive. And so, you know, I don't know that we had any real concerns about, you know, makeup and character. Yeah, so I think we were really pleased to get him where we got him, that's for sure. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you, guys.
Shout out to Mickey, man.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
good day.
I think that Sean Payton $100 bite's gonna
I know
pop
that.
up somewhere.
That's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Shout out to Mickey, man, as Mickey gets in the win there. Shout out to Mickey. Happy today, man. But listen, shout out to Mickey and everything the Saints brass have done up to this point in terms of the offseason. Like a lot of big moves the Saints have done insofar as helping the team improve. Like I'm really, really happy about these moves. Now, once again, I'm a tough cookie, a grader and a guy that then gave you an opportunity to show what you can do. Now it's up to the Saints, in particular, Dennis Allen, the head coach of the team, to march this team. And we still have some time before the start of training camp where the Saints will add extra pieces or extra players to this roster. But when you look at the free agent moves the Saints have made, and you couple that with the draft and the undrafted area, and then what they've done at this point, the signing of James Washington today, you look at the Saints and saying, man, they're trying to, what they're attempting to do, we know that the defense has a lot of turnover that's going on. And we talked about this before, the new defensive line coach, we got a new coordinator. And I talked about this on TSC Q&A, our Patreon special. For those who are not members, please sign up, fam. We got very affordable membership. We do film study on there. I do reaction streams. All that's on there. It's loaded. Was loading. I'll be loading more stuff on there. So if I'm not on here, I'm on there. But what's really interesting about this, the dynamic of what Dennis Allen is doing, and I'm going to point it out, and it's very obvious, but there's a difference between what we seen last year defensive staff versus this year. We know these are Dennis's guys, and the other guys were Sean Payton's guys. That's not what I'm alluding to. Even though that's going to play a factor in how loosely and how comfortable you see Dennis Allen is, because he feels comfortable that he has his guys on the defense, guys that he's worked with, guys that he's given an opportunity with, guys who believe in him and what he's doing from a defensive standpoint. But last year, we didn't have a defensive coordinator. We didn't. We did not have a defensive coordinator. What we had was two people that were co-coordinators, but there was no actual person that was a coordinator. And that is going to be big to Dennis Allen. Think about it. Last year, you had Ryan Nielsen and you had Coach Chris Richard, the secondary coach, and the defensive line coach that were put together. They just made up and said we can't decide who the coordinator is going to be. It's a tie. Y'all both win. That's pretty much what happened last year. Well, with those guys splitting and leaving, you actually got a person that occupies the position. Even though it's a position in title, he is more of a defensive assistant, but nonetheless, he is affixed to that title. And it's not somebody that you took from somewhere else and put there to make a position. You get what I'm saying? Like you have, using last year's model, you had Ryan Nielsen, who's the defensive line coach. Well, you have Ty Grantham there. All Ty Grantham do is he's going to coach the defensive line. You got Marcus Robertson, who's the safety guy. He's going to, the secondary coach. He's going to coach the secondary. And you got Joe Woods, who was the former defensive coordinator for the Browns last year, who's now called the defensive coordinator. What is he going to do? He's going to assist Dennis Allen, who will be calling the plays on the defense. So he basically has a defensive assistant. It's an extra person, which means that you don't have to pull from both groups to make them, make them do something together that a one person could do. So what I'm saying is Dennis Allen was trying to be a defensive coordinator last year and get the defense together, call all the plays, and he had some interjection from guys. But how much interjection from guys you gonna get when they got to coach their position groups? You see what I'm saying? Joe Woods will act as an overseer for his entire staff and then oversee them and then report to Dennis Allen. You see what I'm saying? And then act as a defensive assistant to help Dennis Allen. What I'm saying is you got to help there now. So he don't have to do all that himself. You see what I'm saying? So all these other guys can focus on what they do best, coach the defensive line, coach the secondary, and Joe Woods will be the guy that's next to Dennis Allen, helping him out with the defense, just like Pete Carmichael is getting help from Coach Curry, who is the passing game coordinator. Big difference. Big difference from last year. Now, would it make a difference? We'll see. We've yet to see, but that's one of the things that I recognize, like, okay, maybe that's why he's feeling good about himself, because he don't have to take over or take on the defense by himself. He got somebody who, and listen, if you don't know Coach Woods, man, feel free to do some research on Coach Woods and listen to his break. It's plenty of tape online, videos on YouTube, and other places where you can go and actually listen to him break down stuff. You know, he can actually go in there and break the game down. You know what I'm saying? He can. And then what's really awesome about Coach Woods, he's really good at explaining the game. He's really patient in his approach. You can tell that he knows what he's talking about. Very educated, has a good vocabulary to know how to talk to people. I've seen different videos with him coaching people and talking to them in different ways, not coaching everybody the same, but talking to them in different ways. So he's a very smart dude. So, you know, having him next to Dennis Allen, and Dennis Allen could use all the help he can get. Dennis Allen can use all the help he can get, man. So I like Joe Woods, man. Based on what I was looking, it's the same research I did when I went and looked up Cody Burns. I'm like, what kind of dude this is? Let me go, and I started watching his training footage of Cody Burns, who's the current wide receiver coach for the Saints. You know, and Cody Burns, like, man, I like this dude, man. He's, you know, and then later on, it came out from interviews from players like Jarvis Landry at the time that was giving a lot of praise to Cody Burns, you know, giving him a lot of respect. And I was like, I knew he was going to fit in because I was watching his style and on his video and how he was talking to people. I was like, this dude going to fit in really well. It's the same thing with Joe Woods. Joe Woods is a really smart dude. And to have him with Dennis Allen even though they're calling him the coordinator, he's more like, in my approach, I think he's more of an assistant, because Dennis Allen is still a dude that's going to be the defensive coordinator running the thing. But, you know, Joe would operate with him to help him get it together. And if you got that going on, that's a supreme help. That's something extra that should be able to take the pressure off of him and put another perspective on the defense to help out there. So I like it. I like it. I think it's a smart move having Joe Woods there and his intelligence level next to Dennis Allen with the defense. So I can dig that. All right. So anyway, fam, let's dig into this depth chart right here and take a look at it. And this is our Saints unofficial depth chart as it stands, family. This is what it is currently, right? You can see all the fantastic talent that we've added here in our wide receiver room, looking really deep. Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, Rashid Shaheed, A.T. Perry is there. You see there. You see Keith Kirkwood and Traquan Smith. It's going to be tough sledding, man. Tough sledding for guys. Now, Keith Kirkwood in his stint prior to him coming back from Carolina, he was a solid wide receiver for us. He went to Carolina and he just really didn't look good last year. He was dropping the ball, looked out of place of sorts. And it's going to be tough sledding for those guys to make the team. Quine Baker is a 7th-round draft pick the Saints had a couple of seasons ago, had that PED issue. The Saints brought him back because if you remember watching tape on Quine, did I say Alexander? I mean, Quine Baker, as I'm calling Quine Alexander to come back to the team. Quine Baker, the wide receiver, 7th-round draft pick out of the University of South Alabama. Now, if you go back and watch the tape on him, I was really excited about him because he's a 6'1" dude with a lot of speed, runs really crisp routes, has a lot of potential. So, you know, he's going to have his work to do. Kirk Merritt is another one of our undrafted gems. He could play wide receiver or running back for you, even help out in the kick return game. If you need a kick return guy, I would kind of say a guy, even though we're looking at, a player further down on the list to be a guy that you look at. But if you want to make the team, and you're a guy this far back, probably you're going to have to try to play special teams here and do, multiple things for the Saints offense. So learn how to be the running back and play wide receiver, and even help in the return game could be something that kind of, ingratiate yourself to the team. Brian Edwards is a guy the Saints picked up in free agency. He was former Falcon and Raider guy that's familiar with our quarterback. And then, of course, you go back here, you see James Washington, the veteran wide receiver, signed today that brings some competition to the room. Very excited about that. And two really phenomenal undrafted guys with all the potential in the world, and Malik Flowers, who is a return specialist. The Saints done did it again. They done found another dude to kind of step in there and make things pop for him, you know?
He ain't lying.
And then you look at Shaq Davis. Shaq Davis is another dude that is just a massive human. He's 6'5", 200 something odd pounds, 40 speed. Shaq Davis is going to be the guy that a lot of people are paying attention to when the time comes. How far does Shaq Davis make it up the list? He has size, he has speed. Can he make it work? Can he make it work? And that's who I'm going to be paying attention to. Really so, fam. I'm really excited about several of these players undrafted. You look at the offensive line. We talked about last year, we needed help in the offensive line behind them because we were dealing with a lot of injuries, man. A lot of Trevor Penning, Andrews Pete, McCoy. You know, these guys, a lot of these guys missed times, you know, with injuries. So the Saints had Kelvin Throckmorton, who really didn't play that well. They brought him back on the deal. And so the Saints was like, you know what, let's step our game up here because they had Kelvin Throckmorton. Landon Young wasn't really showing them anything. James Hurst is our swing guy. I love James Hurst, more inside than outside, but love what he brings to the team. The Saints drafted Nick Saldiveri and brought him in here, said they're going to play him at guard. Love that move. Storm Norton was a quiet signing. The Saints happy he could play either tackle position, the big veteran out of San Diego from the Chargers. And they have done a really solid job of adding Nick Saldiveri and Storm Norton to the team. And plus, you look at other guys they've brought, like Mark Evans out of Arkansas Pine Bluff. He's another guy. That's another one of the undrafted guys we watching out for. Like, I'm going to put a show together, and we're going to talk about some of the diamonds that we watching out for that could have a potential to climb up and make this team. And I believe he's one of those guys. Then you move on to the tight end room and talk about the tight ends. And the Saints, that was one of the positions that a lot of family members felt like, hey, Q, we need to do something there. Well, listen, I say family, there's something about Foster Moreau because he's hanging around and we haven't heard nothing from him. Then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Foster Moreau is on the team now. The Saints gave him a deal. So you have him there. He's more of a balanced tight end, very, you know, he's a young veteran tight end, familiar with the quarterback. In his days with the Raiders, we still have Juwan Johnson there, who's just phenomenal. Taysom Hill is in the room. We have one of the most complex and versatile tight end groups in the NFL. Let me tell you something, straight up. Then we have some good talent too, like Lucas Krull is a guy. How far does Lucas Krull, the former Pittsburgh Panther, undrafted free agent we picked up last year, how far does he climb into the tight end room? Can he make it make a push on to the team? You know, so Lucas Krull is something else too. And then, of course, the quarterback position goes without saying. Derek Carr does what the Saints offense need to win. He really does get the ball downfield very well and give them leadership, you know, and that's another fantastic thing that, you know, he doesn't have to do too much. I think our quarterbacks are probably, you know, some of the best in the game. You got a solid Jameis Winston who's going to be healthy playing behind Carr if injury occurs or if he struggles. You know, you got Jameis sitting there and Jake Hayner, who's a guy that just is a prospect quarterback that has potential. Liked how you look in his first rookie minicamp, but it's still a lot of time to kind of evaluate them. And then the running back position, what can I tell you? Alvin Kamara facing his Las Vegas stuff, and this is probably will go down as one of the best signings of the Saints season. We talk about Jamal Williams. I can't overemphasize the signing of Jamal Williams. I can't overemphasize the signing of Jamal Williams onto the team, fam. That was a major signing. And even though we kind of had a busy off season and we're really not kind of focusing because there's a lot going on. But when it's over, the season is over, Jamal Williams will be a big part of the success for the Saints. You added him with Kamara, and that is a phenomenal tandem. You don't understand how good, or maybe a lot of the Whodats understand how good that Kamara and Jamal Williams could be together. And then until Jamal, and we'll see what Alvin Kamara makes it through. But this guy had 17 touchdowns last year, led the NFL, and he's your second running back. Are you kidding me? He does it all. Everything. He does catch out the backfield, block for you if you need him to block. Run, he does it all. He does it all. The Detroit Lions wasn't supposed to let this guy go. This dude is at the top of his game, and I don't even know if we've seen the very best of him. He's still got a lot to go. So you get Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams together, and then couple that with the third-round pick, Kendre Miller out of TCU, who had 1,600 yards rushing with what? How many touchdowns he had? Didn't he have 17 touchdowns last year too? Man, let me tell you something. The Saints running back room, three-headed monster running back room, man, listen. Dennis Allen said that he wanted to run the ball. My goodness, he wasn't lying. Was he lying? Was he lying? Wrong button.
He ain't lying.
There you go. All right, so anyway, and then behind them, family, we talk about Sharadrick Thompson. And I invite you guys to go and look at Sharadrick Thompson's tape. You won't talk, and we just did the scouting report on Ellis Merriweather, right? We did that. Man, I'm gonna do some film work on both these new guys the Saints picked up on a Patreon channel. But Sharadrick Thompson Jr., let me tell you something. This guy, you got to watch the tape. You've got to watch the tape on Sharadrick Thompson. The guy, oh my goodness. When the Saints get undrafted running backs, y'all know in the Who Dat Nation, y'all got to stand up and take notice of our undrafted running backs, because the Saints always seem to find these guys. And you can see it's a template of what Dennis Allen is doing, because, you look at Alvin Kamara, everybody is not Alvin Kamara, but you see Jamal Williams does the speed and power game. Kendre Miller has speed and power, but mostly these are power guys that run very powerfully, use stiff arms, whatnot, and power game. Sharadrick Thompson's another dude, not just straight power, but this dude has a little wiggle to him. But these are strong, bullish, north-south runners that if something happened and we need these guys to move into the fold, they will move in. So you can look at guys like Dwayne Washington. You can look at guys like Traquan Smith and all these guys that have been on the team for a while. And we had Dwayne Washington as the third running back for years, and he could barely touch the field because the Saints didn't believe in him as a running back. That shit's over with, man. That's a done data. So the only thing else that I'm looking for the Saints to do is bring in competition for the fullback, Adam Prentice. Could we get a fullback? Because I know Prentice was more of a guy for Sean Payton's system. Could we find a more versatile fullback, or do we have somebody that can come in and challenge Prentice for that fullback position? Is that possible? Or perhaps, we'll see. But anyway, going over to the defense, we know what we got on the defensive side. We talk about the defense all the time. Saints defense got a lot of turnover, coaching staff and players. So that's why I was saying the onus will be on the Saints to take care of business from an offensive standpoint, because the defense, a lot is going on there. So it's got to be the offense. So that's why you see a lot of the resources going to the offense. The offense they have to get on code again. They've got to get back to where they were insofar as being a top 10, top 15 unit. They've got to get back there. They've got to get back there, because I don't think our defense will be the unit that leads us with all this turnover. I mean, how could they? You got 3 new starters on the defensive line. We have to figure that thing out. The interior defensive line still needs rotational guys, and you can see right here, you see all the additions of Saunders, Shepard, Breesy, added the re-signing of Malcolm Roach, and then you hear the signing of all these undrafted interior defensive linemen. We don't know what these guys are going to do. Perhaps one of these guys could be the new Shy Tuttle. We don't know. But Jack Heflin was added. We got Prince Emili, who's been here, and then Jaron Cage, the Ohio State defensive tackle. We don't know exactly what these guys are going to bring, but perhaps Tanu Passanyo's in the mix as an interior defensive tackle. Maybe not. Hopefully he is more defensive tackle than end. But the Saints have a lot of ends: Granderson, Peyton Turner, Isaiah Foskey. Do they add somebody else? I still say if I'm the Saints, I need a veteran defensive tackle, a nose tackle. We need a veteran nose tackle. You get you a big veteran nose tackle, and you can put them in that mix, and see how it goes, man. A veteran nose tackle, we can use that. We can use, and I talked about Cade, a guy that replaces Caden Ellis. Could it be Quan Alexander? Do anybody out there believe in Zach Bowen? Do anybody believe in Zach Bowen? Could Zach Bowen become Caden Ellis? Could we have a Caden Ellis type year with Mr. Zach Bowen? Do anybody believe in that? Is there any Zach Bowen believers out there? I know that Zach Bowen's been here for a long time and he didn't give you a lot to believe in, but are there any people out there that got something positive to say about Zach Bowen? Could y'all let me know? Let me know. Because outside of Demario Davis and an often-ended Pete Werner, you might see Zach Bowen unless the Saints address the linebacker position. Outside of him, we got a lot of guys, special teams linebacker Andrew Dow, who played pretty decently for us, and then he kind of teetered off. You got DeMarco Jackson, the 5th-round draft pick last year from Appalachian State. Love his game, seeing what he can bring. But outside of that, it's mostly people we don't really know what they're going to bring to the table. We know Nephi Sewell played well special teams-wise, but these are still young players that have potential, but we don't know exactly what they're going to bring to the table. I know Nick Anderson and Anthony Orji, these guys are young athletic guys, but you always want to make sure you steady that room with a veteran, at least one, behind Caden Ellis or somebody that could kind of sturdy up the room a bit. And it makes sense to get Quan Alexander to me because he'll work cheap and he's familiar with your system. The secondary room is the deepest room on the team to me, outside of what could be the wide receivers now with the addition of James Washington. But I guess it's a race for the money. If I got asked to who that nation, what's the deepest room on the team? For a while, it was a secondary room. It was a secondary group, deepest on the team because of all of the talent that we have there. They added, Lonnie Johnson Jr. could play corner and safety. They added Jonathan Abram to knock your head off, to bring ferocity behind Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu. Laddie Daddy there with Paulson Adebo. Alante Taylor's in the mix. And then behind those guys, you got some talented players, special teams guys, that Hugo Amadi, JT Gray. Smoke Monday. What does Smoke Monday become? Smoke Monday got a long way to climb. And the Saints added Adrian Fry as a special teams guy with Troy Pride there. So they have a very deep room. So, and no need to look at PJ Williams no more. So the Saints kind of getting these old guys out of the way, the PJs, the Traquan Smiths, and the Dwayne Washingtons and all those guys. If you can't contribute to your position group where you come from on special teams, if you're a running back and you can't be counted on to run the ball, if we have issues, they're going to get you up out of here. It happened several times. It happened with Justin Hardy. It happened with Chris Banjo. The Saints don't just want a person that could just be good in special teams. You have to play at least decently the position that you come from, whether that's a safety or a wide receiver, running back, wherever it is, because injuries happen. You might be called upon to step into that role. And then, of course, we go to the special teams, which have been very unspecial these last couple of years. So Will Lutz have all the competition in the world. The two guys kicking against him and the Saints have all of his medicals. And I'm sitting up here saying, damn, they got two guys competing with him. Will Lutz got to show him something, man. Will Lutz got to get back to where he was, man, this year. He will be a big part of the success for the Saints going forward. He has to get back up there again. Last year, 74% accuracy, kicking field goals. It ain't going to cut it. It'll get you competed against. And ultimately, if these guys out kick you, because anything can happen in the pros, they'll run your ass out of here, lickety split. And of course, the punting situation, we know that Lou Headley, that very, interesting punter that they brought in here, really interesting punter. But Blake Gilligan going to punt him, kick him clean up out of here, man. So Blake Gilligan ain't going nowhere. And then, of course, the kick return game, we know all too well. Malik Flowers is a guy in the room. Hopefully, Malik Flowers or somebody else would take that kick return or the kick return specialist position, get Rashid Shaheed's name off of there. So because we want Rashid Shaheed to pay attention to his wide receiver 3 duties. We need him in offense. So that's a lot. All right. So, all right. Oh, yeah. I heard about that, Quavadas, that he met with the Steelers today. So, we'll see. All right. Okay. No, they got him up here. I don't think he went back to school. I want to say he's still here. I'll check on it though. All right. So anyway, with that being said, fam, let's go and do a brief recap right here with the fam. We heard from my boy Cam Jordan dropping some science about the moves the Saints have made and stuff. Good to always hear from Cam. And his perspective on things always great. We heard from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Mickey Loomis, as he broke down his thought process. You can see a very happy Mickey. Mickey, what kind of hat you got on, man? All right, hold on now. I'll tell you something. Don't talk about my hat now. You're going too far now. All right, so anyway, let's go. And then, of course, the signing of James Washington, very solid deal by the Saints, getting him on a 1-year deal to help run Traquan Smith out of here and kind of, beef up the wide receiver room, add some more talent there. A guy, a veteran with his speed, and he's still a guy. He had some banged up times last year, but he's healthy now. He passed the physical. The Saints inked him. Very solid signing for the Saints. I like this signing a lot. Like it a lot. So good having him to come back here. And also the Saints addition of, they added some more players to the team, Adrian Fry, and also Ellis Merriweather, running back out of UMass, a north-south runner with power. And that's Dennis Allen telling you, we want to be a power team. And then, of course, the Saints did add defensive tackle from the XFL. What's his name again? Mr. Jack Heflin. So they bring in Big Jack Heflin from the XFL to enter into the defensive interior group to provide some competition right there. So that's a few things that we're talking about right here. And this is a couple of the guys at the Saints. You see James Washington is officially announced by the Saints Twitter that these guys are the new guys that are joining the squad. So with that being said, shout out to the fam, man. Appreciate y'all being in the building on this one as well. Yeah, that was yesterday. I want to say they brought in some pre. I'm gonna check out and see what else they got going, because I know the Saints still have a few more position groups that they said that they're gonna be looking at adding to the team. So it's pretty cool, man, to see how they operate, man. I just love what they're doing. I'm gonna be honest with you, fam. I love what they are doing. It's just a matter of getting it all together and making it pop for the upcoming season. So that's what it's all about to me. All right. So anyway, yeah, I would have to say so. But anyway, let's go over let's talk about the poll right here, family. So we had 122 votes. If you didn't have an opportunity yet to vote on the poll, feel free to do so right now. I'm about to close the poll, and about at 7:35. So you have my time, Central Time. You have an opportunity to vote right now. It's a 2-man race. The poll is, who is the greatest Saints defensive player of all time? Now, I got 4 people up there because that's about as many I could put in there. But it's Cam Jordan, Pat Swilling, Wayne Martin, and Ricky Jackson, the Hall of Famer. Right now, it's a 2-man race right now between Cam and Ricky Jackson right now. So I'm about to close the poll. I'm going to give about a minute left for some of the family members who haven't voted. If you want to chime in on that poll, feel free to vote on it, and I'm going to close it at 7:35. But that's a interesting one right there to see, exactly who you guys think it would be. All right, Tedra says, I want to say this now. This will be Taysom's last season. Quietly, team have been getting good people to do everything Taysom does. Okay, so he will not be needed next year. Sorry to say that. He'd be headed towards Sean Payton. Now, Tedra, is that you know what? That is interesting though. But when you have a guy like Taysom Hill, man, and I said that like a couple years ago. I was like, okay, if the Saints need to, because Taysom was starting playing wide receiver, he was taking reps from Traquan Smith and the others. I was like, if anybody might have contributed indirectly to the lack of development of a Traquan Smith, it is Taysom Hill, because a lot of the game reps at that time, Taysom Hill was taking Traquan Smith reps. He was. And he was so explosive and dynamic that Sean Payton relied on him a lot. Now, with that being said, you are absolutely right. If you look at the Saints wide receiver room and what they were to do, not just the wide receiver room, but just the offense totally, you got all these real fantastic players at every level. We talking about veterans. We talk about James Washington is not a slouch. James Washington can hurt you. He can hurt you. He's one of them dudes that can get downfield and hurt you. He can catch the ball really well, and he has speed. He got talent. The thing about Washington is that he's had some injury concerns, He's been banged up, but in a rotation, he could help. So, and then there's also other players there that have potential that could show up too. A.T. Perry, Shaq Davis, Malik Flowers. So you have big physical guys with athleticism that are very talented. So it's no longer like a centered point where I guess this all depends on where Pete Carmichael, where does his imagination have Taysom Hill fitting in this whole matrix of great talent we have? Like Jamal Williams is here. Do you see Taysom Hill taking Jamal Williams off the field? If you got Kamara and Jamal Williams, to put Taysom Hill in there, or perhaps to put Taysom Hill at fullback. We've seen Taysom play fullback. Could they utilize him there? Taysom could be used all over the field, wherever you need him to. That's the definition of a utility player, wherever you need him at. So yeah, you can see so much talent at every skill position, running back, wide receiver, and even you add where Taysom is at the tight end position when you add Foster and you got Juwan Johnson there, and Taysom in the mix. The Saints could pretty much do whatever they want to do with Taysom Hill. Then you add a quarterback that can throw the ball down the field in cars, so it kind of takes him away from that role. So you got a point on that, Tedra. It'll be interesting to see exactly how it looks, but it's going to be awesome, man. All right, shout out to you, Colorado. Good to see you, fam. Eugene says, hold on, I'm sorry. I done lost your comment, bro. I was about to pop it on there. It popped off of there. I'm sorry. All right. Dre says, I hate when freaking passion when my dirty birds play Taysom. Oh, yeah, he kills the Hey, Dre, yeah, Taysom kills though. Remember the year, families, a couple years ago. It was the same year the Denver Broncos quarterbacks all was sick and they had to go in with the running back. Y'all remember that? It was in a 3-game stretch that Taysom Hill was out. Well, what was it? They played the Falcons one game, then they played Denver, then they went back to it played the Falcons again. And Taysom killed the Falcons that year. He always kills the Falcons. They have great difficulty stopping Taysom Hill, man. Taysom gets up to play them Falcons, let me tell you, man. He gets up to play them Falcons. All right, so anyway, let me go back to the poll right here, fam. We're going in the poll and see where it is, and let's see where let's see where the poll. Hold on here. All right, so the who's the greatest Saints defensive player of all time? The poll is over with. They had 140 plus votes, and Cam Jordan wins the poll 45% to Ricky Jackson's 44%. So there you go. The Who Dat Nation has spoken. Cam won the poll 45% out of 44%. Very close, man. Very close. But like I said, people will say Ricky Jackson now, but factor in the fact that Cam then took Ricky's sack record. He owns the Saints sack record. He took it down. He said, well, Ricky Jackson, he won a Super Bowl, so did Cam. Ricky had to go to San Francisco to get one. Cam got one here. So you got Cam got a Super Bowl, Ricky got one, Cam got one. Cam has Ricky's sack record, and many of his statistics is Cam's. The only thing Ricky has over Cam is he's a Hall of Famer. You don't think when Cam's time is over with, he won't become a Hall of Famer? Cam's going to that Hall, bro. And I ain't talking about the Saints Hall of Fame. I'm talking about the big Hall of Fame, the one in Canton. He going to that Hall, bro. Ain't no doubt about it. So Cam won 45% to 44%. How about that, fam? How about that? Y'all, how y'all feeling about that one? Y'all feeling good about that poll? A lot of old schoolers ain't gonna be feeling that one. A lot of my old school family members ain't gonna be feeling that. Ain't gonna be feeling that. Oh, he didn't have? Hold on here. Cam didn't get that bowl, man. Hold on here. I'm tripping. Hold on here. Oh, he was a couple seasons late on it. Hold on. Y'all, Cheryl is right. He don't have it. Damn, he was a couple years late. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Sure did. Yeah, he came in 2011. Yep, he just missed it. So yeah, Ricky got him on that. I'm about to give Cam a suit. Y'all are right. Cam don't have that bowl. Ricky got him on the Super Bowl. Cam got him on that. But still, with that still being said, I stand corrected. Thank you, Tragic Sir. I stand corrected. With that still being said, is it still Cam Jordan is the best player there. Is he still a guy? All right, y'all tell me. Yeah, I'm tripping while I'm sitting down. Damn, Darrell, bro, why you got to talk like that, bro? You know, I stand corrected, my brother. I stand corrected. I'm tripping while I'm sitting down. Damn, brother. All right. All right. So Devin says, I give Ricky the slight edge, but if Cam keep playing like this, it's going to be him. All right. Yeah, but listen. So it's still Ricky in y'all minds, even though Cam owns Ricky's records. And even though Cam don't have the Super Bowl with the Saints, neither does Ricky Jackson. Ricky went to San Francisco to get it. So we're gonna count the San Francisco Super Bowl that he left the Saints to go and get. We talking about all-time greatest Saint player, right? You know, all-time greatest Saint. Okay, Cam don't have his, right? But Ricky had to go to San Fran to get his. That ain't nothing good for us. That ain't good for us. You know, y'all talk to me now. Come on now, talk to me. He had to go to San Francisco to get that Super Bowl. Saints ain't won't play him by. They ain't won't pay him, by the way. He wanted to stay. Saints ain't won't pay him. 49ers put together a Super Bowl team that was Eddie DeBartolo and Carmen Policy put that team together. They basically bought a Super Bowl that year. They had a Hall of Fame All-Star Pro Bowl level team out there. I mean, they had everybody on that damn team. Ricky was on Ricky Jackson, and who else they had on there? Tim McDonald. Wasn't that with Merton Hanks and Deion Sanders, and they had everybody on that team, man. They basically bought a Super Bowl that year when Ricky Jackson went out there with them. They had everybody on that damn team. But even though he goes out there, you still gonna say it's Ricky Jackson? Cam got all the Ricky records. He took down the biggest record, which was the sack record. And even though Cam don't have a Super Bowl, Ricky don't have one for the Saints. He got that for the Niners. So can we still count his 49ers Super Bowl as a Saint? This is the greatest Saint of all time. Do we count his 49ers stats for the Saints? I don't think so. I don't know. It's a close one, but anytime a guy take another guy's records down, like what Cam did, I mean, I don't know. A lot of my old school peoples is gonna be like, nah, Q, we're gonna have to rock with. We can't rock with them. Ricky's Pelicans Nola, shout out to you. Rick Jackson put more quarter. You might be right on that. Yeah, you might have something on that. If we count that, you know what? All right. Or was he ultimate in causing fumbles? Okay. Does that still keep him ahead of him though? I don't know. Y'all tell me. You know? How many y'all that's a great question though, man. That's a good question. Maybe we do like a side by side of those two great players, man. You know, we're gonna have to kind of add because, like I said, he took his stuff down. He got all of his stuff, man. He took all of Ricky Jackson stuff down, man. You know, so I don't know, man. We got to approach that at another time. All right, Devin says he says LT really likes some of the hype on Ricky because he was a real deal. Also off the white stuff like LT. Yeah, LT. Yeah, you want to talk about too, man. Lawrence Taylor, man. Lawrence Taylor and Ricky Jackson. That was our guy. That was our Lawrence Taylor, Ricky Jackson. That was our Lawrence Taylor. Ricky Jackson. He just didn't get all of the press that LT got, obviously, because LT was playing for the Giants. The Giants won a couple of Super Bowls there, or they won a Super Bowl with LT, got them there, and they were in the media capital of the country. So yeah, that says a lot, man. All right, brother Donovan, what's up, bro? Says, who remember when Ricky got in the car accident and played? Yeah, he played with his mouth shut. He had that. He put that Darth Vader face mask on. You couldn't see nothing but his eyes, and his whole face was covered. And even when he healed up, he kept running. I remember that. Oh yeah, Uncle Paulie, there he is. I knew he was around here somewhere. Yeah, Eugene says Ricky was all-time leader in forced fumbles when he retired. LT was second all-time, so that's a good one on LT. Paul says Charles Mann, Ken Norton, Alfred Williams, was one of the 94. Yeah, team great one season. They bought that Super Bowl, bro. They bought the hell out of that Super Bowl that year. That was a hell of a team, man, and they just ran over people. All right, Tragic saying this, Swilling was actually a defense. He was indeed. But like the poll says, bro, I had Swilling up there. I had Swilling up there on the poll, man. I had him on the poll. And only 9% of the people voted for him. Who's the greatest defensive players of all time for the Saints? The greatest defensive player of all time. I put 4 people up there: Cam, Ricky, Pat, and Wayne Martin. Right? I put Pat up there. And Pat Swilling got 9% of the vote. Wayne Martin got 0 of the vote, and you can understand that it'd be between Cam and Ricky. So at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? At the end of the day, it is what it is. All right, so anyway, with that being said, we're going to hold that for another debate, man, because that's a great question, man, to get everybody's minds working about who's the greatest Saint defensive player of all time. You kind of look at the offense. We kind of know who the greatest offensive player of all time is. It's kind of, we already know what that one is, but the defensive player of all time, with Cam catching all this and doing all this extra stuff and still playing, he can add to what he's doing here. So yeah, I still see Cam Jordan he's up there, man. Anytime you could put Ricky Jackson and Cam Jordan together in great light, that's a whole nother level. But that's something we're gonna have to go over at another show. So with that being said, I'm gonna get out on that. Listen, I appreciate all of you guys for spending time with me today on the stream. I shall return tomorrow on our Patreon special. We'll cover some more news notes. We'll break down some film on some people. We'll have some reaction videos and all that type of stuff that'll be going up tomorrow as well. So if you're a person that likes what we're doing here at the Sports Coma, please feel free to join our YouTube membership or go to patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. Links in the description section below, and sign up for all that extra stuff that we're doing over there at Patreon that we can't do over here because of the obvious reasons. So it helps us stream. It helps us to keep going strong. Also, feel free to support the content creators at www.protv1one.com. It's set up by the Pro Media Network. You got other content creators on that thing. So support the website, www.protv1.com. Links in the description section below. Also, feel free to throw some support at the whothatdaily.com, where the article's at for our website and all that kind of gravy stuff. So with that being said, I'm gonna get out on that. Uncle Paul is throwing this one at me, say his Q. Hey Q, if Will Smith had lived, he says it would be Ricky Jackson, Will Smith, Cam Jordan, Pat Swilling, Sam Mills, and Leroy Glover. That would be the greatest. If Will Smith lived, you think it would be Ricky Jackson, then Will Smith? Okay. All right. Rest in peace and power to Will Smith. He's in the conversation, man. You look at the sack masters. We had some really good ones over the years, man. And rest in power to the great late Will Smith. Much love to that brother, man. And all that happened, just senseless. But yeah, he's up there in the conversation, man. Be cool. But with that being said, I'm gonna tip out on that. Much love to the fan. Appreciate y'all for chiming in. Like I said, show some support for the family members. Check out the link tree. All our links to everything that we're doing. It's a lot of stuff, too much stuff to talk about. Also, feel free to support our sponsors. That's in the description section. ExpressVPN and Outlaw, all natural body products, deodorant with no aluminum in it, stuff that, tear you up, all that kind of stuff. They got it available. And plus, when you click the link, you get 20% off there, and you get 3 months off at ExpressVPN. We're doing it all. Much love to the family. Holla at y'all on the flip side. Who that to you? In peace.
Yeah, boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that at. Where we do that at. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that at. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. Check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform.